you fix your ceiling height issue. I mean, you can meet OBC, Ontario Building Code, but you're not going to fix the 6'8" ceiling height by doing that, meaning that the overall ceiling height down here is going to feel a little bit lower. All right, I'm down in the basement. This is the back entrance to the house right there. You come down these stairs, and this is one of the ones where we don't quite have enough ceiling height, so I want to work through some of the options here. So from underneath the joist to the concrete is 6'8". If we do our work back with slimline duct, we need a 6'5" clearance. We need 1 inch of materials, 5/8 drywall, 3/8 flooring. So that is 6'6", and then we have at least 4 inches of ductwork with a 1 inch airspace. So the very tightest you can go is 6'10", and 6'11" is really the more comfortable cutoff. We have 6'8" here, so what can we do? This beam, quite a beam actually, a 5-ply sitting on cinder block posts. So that beam can be recessed, but we'd have to be careful about the layout that we used here in order to be able to recess where we need to and get the span that we need to. So when we do a flush mount, we can't just kind of do it for the entire span of the house, right? There has to be a limit to that based on load calculations. So we can do an LVL for a certain amount of distance, and then we need another post, right? So how would you strategize on this? In terms of the beam, there's 2 main obstacles to contend with. One is the beam, the other is the ductwork that you can see right there. So in terms of the beam, what you could do is strategize to have your bedrooms on this side. So between that exterior wall and this beam is about 9 feet. So you can have a bedroom in there. You could potentially put 1 bedroom down at this end, 1 bedroom down at that end, and then an LVL like spanning from this post to that post in order to get an opening that meets your 6'5" requirement, opening up to this side, right? That's it's a non-load bearing partition right there. It actually is, the other side of the basement is right there. So then you can have kitchen, bath, living room down this side where it's wide open and you don't have any beams to contend with. So that's a strategy to deal with the beam. The ductwork is another matter, and is often, in a counterintuitive way, is often the more difficult item to deal with. So what options do we have here? This forced air gas furnace that sits down here in the basement right now can be relocated, and I've checked upstairs. There actually is space. I'll show you where that could potentially be. This furnace can be relocated to upstairs. The heating ducts run into the attic and then feed down through the interior walls into the basement, right? So that's one way to achieve ceiling height where you're hitting this limit. If we back out from all of that, the other way is to underpin the footings, right? So that's the other strategy you can do to fix this 6'8" ceiling height issue from the raw underside of these joists to the raw concrete, 6'8". So we can underpin, or we can strategize and put the furnace upstairs, flush mount the beams, and reroute the ductwork. So that's 2 different options to be able to deal with this. And you would, so we're 36 by 21 down here. You would get a 2-bedroom down here without any troubles. And you've got some extra space right here as well. This is outside of the 36 by 21 footprint, so you'd have a little extra room there. Panel in this case, just to look at this. Okay, so we can see right there, we're 100 amp breaker. Just a quick look at all this wiring. None of it looks to be aluminum. We can tell by the main wire throughout all these houses is 14.2. So we can see 14.2 aluminum is much fatter. It looks more like a 12.2 or a 10.2 in copper. So you would see all the standard, most common wiring in the house, all of this stuff, except for that 3-wire there, would be fatter than this 14.2 is, which tells me it's copper. The other thing is it's usually written right on the casing of the wiring to say that it's aluminum. Okay, that's the electrical. So bottom line, with a little extra cost, we do have options to be able to fix this 6'8" ceiling height. Now, 2 options again, underpin versus relocate furnace and flush mount beams. When you underpin, the pro and the con there, cost, obviously it costs money to underpin. 2, you have to shore up the foundation and the footing, which eats into the floor space down here pretty significantly. So with these finished walls would be quite a bit thicker, or you'd have to kind of frame and bulkhead around the shoring up of the footings. So you'd lose space and a little bit extra cost, but you ultimately fix this ceiling height, right? Right now it's 6'8", and unless you underpin, you're not going to change that. If you go the other route, relocate the furnace, flush mount the beams, you fix your ceiling height issue. I mean, you can meet OBC, Ontario Building Code, but you're not going to fix the 6'8" ceiling height by doing that, meaning that the overall ceiling height down here is going to feel a little bit lower. So that's the trade-off. Would it be doable? Absolutely. I don't think that's a showstopper. Two options, pros and cons with both. Let me show you upstairs here. So the backyard here, nice big backyard, nice and private. Shed already located. Upstairs, here's the kitchen, solid surface countertops. Okay, windows, newer style, thermal pane. This is where I would probably try and steal some room out of this eating area right here. So you wouldn't want to take this whole floor space for sure, nor would you need to for the mechanical being relocated up here. But we could take some of it. I would probably open up that wall right there a little bit, create access to this window and a smaller eating space, and take some space right over here for the relocated furnace if you went that route. Okay, nice big living room. Big bay window. Front entrance, front closet. Okay, bedroom number 1. Bedroom number 2, and bathroom. This is an A neighborhood. You can see out here, it's on a quiet street, A neighborhood, quite nice. We do have parking. There's no obstructions, meaning no telephone poles, bus stops, fire hydrants, big trees on municipal land sitting in our way to expand this driveway. We'll check GIS to see and ensure that we've got enough from the lot line up to the front here to fit our parallel parking space. Okay, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. After years of training, consulting, and strategizing with investors, one thing becomes very, very clear, and that is there's a one-to-one correlation between clarity and focus and results. For investors who have clarity and focus, their results are not only faster, but they're better. And for those who don't have clarity and focus, they struggle. They struggle to produce results. They struggle to make steps toward what they're trying to achieve because what they're trying to achieve isn't crystal clear for them. If you don't have that clarity and focus today, reach out, we can help. We have the tools and the systems to be able to flesh out those goals, flesh out that clarity of market and strategy and the approach to get you from point A to point B faster in the most expedited path possible. And where we don't have the tools, we have developed strategic partnerships with people that we're happy to introduce you to help gain clarity and focus. That is the #1 linchpin that we see with investors. And thank you for watching. Some people have reached out in appreciation of the content and asked how they can support. There's a very simple mechanism to be able to do that. If you would like, share this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. These are all things that help us propagate our content, help get our content out to more investors, and we would be hugely appreciative of that. Thanks again for watching.